Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Tuesday, the 9th of February 2021. So Bitcoin, bonds, bullion, biotech and big shorts bid as book breaks down. That is the dollar, of course. This melt up in everything thanks to trillions in mind-boggling liquidity sloshing into the markets. And there's another 1.9 trillion en route as well, whether it finds its way in via stimulus checks to individuals and consumers or whether it goes straight to the banks. But there's a lot more to come, according to the press, and this is sending the implied volatility to the downside. We've got a new low now. This low is the lowest it's been prior to the virus turning up this time last year, so heading down towards that 10% low. Whether we get that far or not, I don't know, before we get another correction, but certainly the lowest it's been for a year there. And the same here, you can see we're back to green and moving down there. News for today, well, we just got this lot. Again, I don't think the market's really taken any notice, which is why they're being downgraded, but that's the news for today. Can't really see anything there that's of any, what I would normally deem as medium or high impact. So that's what we've got today, and let's have I'm just having a look through there just to make sure, and there's not really anything there that I can see to be concerned about. So let's have a look at the German DAX daily. We put in a new all-time high yesterday at 14,190. The market didn't hold, and we saw some selling coming into the market there as prices came off the highs, and we got some weakness overnight as well, with prices currently at the 5-bar moving average. I've drawn in the fibs from this low to this high, and you can see there the 38% retracement is down at the 20-bar moving average, and overnight you'll see that prices started out below the DP and traded back through the 200 to try and move higher. Was only slammed back, then tried again, and then it became a resistance, and prices have traded below this and then back up, and it's just basically hugging this at the moment, with prices finding support at the 14,050 level, which is the blue BRN there. So we're close to the low of yesterday, and the close below this will see the market test to the downside. We've got the S1 there and the 14,000 level as well, which is a very important level. So if prices do move lower by 50 points from where they're currently trading, watch the 14,000 level. On the upside, of course, got to get through the DP to get moving to the upside, and then you've got the R1 as well there. So that's the sort of areas that you need to be looking for in the German DAX. Meanwhile, in the Dow, this also putting in a new high at 31,385. This too off the high from yesterday at the moment, but it has actually got another high made overnight, which I'll add in tomorrow. So a bit of resistance there as well. And I'm just going to quickly cover the silver market as well. There's not a lot going on at the moment. It's really quiet for yesterday. You can see that silver moving higher yesterday, trading back to 38% from this low to this high. So resistance there, hitting this again on the overnight, but currently seeing a bit of selling coming into the market. It needs to stay above the 5-bar moving average if it is to continue to move higher and head back up to any of these other fibs here that we have to get back to that $30 per ounce level. But at the moment, really quiet, coming off that $26 per ounce level that I discussed in Wednesday or Thursday's market alert last week, where we had that accumulation of volume. I think it was Thursdays, and since then prices have managed to bounce a bit, but we're not seeing any significant buying there, which would be useful. But the physical market for silver, the premiums are still holding, very expensive, and again, the only way you'll force the JP Morgans of this world and Deutsche Bank to stop playing their manipulative games, and the corruption, is for the physical market to dry up, just as palladium did a few years ago as well, and that forced the price then to become based upon a fair value as opposed to one that was manipulated. Okay, let's have a quick look at yesterday's price action before we conclude. So let's just wind back to yesterday morning. The market moved lower when the futures opened. Didn't attempt to move to the upside. You can see the selling coming in here with prices moving lower. And I'm just going to fast forward through all of this. So you can see there, market's recovering. Spike to the upside straight off the highs when it hit the 200 bar moving average and the R2. Didn't like that at all. Slammed straight back. Then prices attempt to come back and have another look, and the same thing happens again. So if it's finding an obstruction to the upside, the best thing to do is to move prices lower, shake out everybody and say, well, okay, if we can't go up, let's move to the downside. There we had a signal. Prices move lower. The 5 bar crosses the 20 bar. But we find a bit of support here. As you can see, prices are sideways. And as they manage to break the scalp, move the stop to break even. And then down to the high, through the high and the R1. And when we got down to this level, you know you're going to get some sort of a reaction to try and bring prices back. So if you want to optimize how much you can take off the table at this point, that was the area which you see there, 32 points. You'll see the trade being removed from the chart, and then prices coming back. And again, you can see them buying back in here because we've got prices moving back to the upside off the BRN, and the volume is greater. So then prices managed to bounce back to the high, sideways. You get a retracement here, classic 78% retracement before trying to move higher. And you see the market being tested here as well. And then prices move to the upside and they head towards, I've just drawn in these fibs from this high to this low. And you'll see that at the 20 bar moving average is a 38% retracement as well. And then prices show an increase in volume here, even though it's below the average. It's subtle. We've got some selling here. And then as soon as prices close back below the 5 bar moving average, we head to the downside. I've drawn all of these other fibs in from here to here as well. And the market is just driving straight through them all. So remove all of those. We've got the low there that's taken out as well. I'm looking for any sort of buying pressure that's coming into the market. There isn't any. We go to the DP, and the bar that stopped at the DP came off the low, but this wasn't enough either to halt prices. So we have another look at the DP, and now you see them buying back in here. The market comes off the low, closes towards the high, and the volume has increased. So we've got the stopping area there, bit more weakness coming in, and then the market trades sideways, sitting on the DP and the previous day's close, which was Friday's, of course, and then just drifting basically back to the BRN up to the 50% retracement from here to here, where prices struggle a bit. They come back down to the 20 bar moving average, which is a 50% retracement from here to here. And prices then hold at this level. MDI turns green, but then we drift back down and into another look at the DP level, where this time we get a lot of volume here. So a lot of people buying at the DP level and shorts taking profits. And once again, then prices start to move back to the upside. So you can see there by looking at the volume how you can basically see where the next move is likely to come from. And then we get all the way up to the previous selling area, the BRN, and you see the increase in volume here, as well as traders take profits at this point. And then it's the morning session over and done with, and in the afternoon I'm just going to really fast forward through this because it was doing absolutely nothing. And eventually the market gave way as prices started to move to the downside, as the Dow led the way. I just had to reload the chart there. So you can see how sideways the market is. This is from in between these grey lines here is 12.5 points move. So, you know, we're only looking about 20 point move, or range, I should say, from here to here. So really quiet, rather boring to be perfectly honest with you. But eventually the market actually came back down to the high, and this is where it got interesting, because we had this support here in the previous move back to the upside, even though it was only, like I say, about 20 points. Then once we broke the high, the market slammed down to the 200 MA, where it found support, traded sideways. You can see them testing. The market fails to close back above the 5-bar moving average. They drive the price back down, and then this huge volume bar, which is the highest one for the afternoon that we'd seen, even higher than the open. Market stops and then trade sideways, and again you can see, well, okay, look, if you want to sell, let's have a look. So if you want to sell, go back down to the low of this bar or just above it, and they test it, and then they bring the market back very quickly, as you see here, back to the 200 MA and the BRN there. So again, there's a pattern to all sort of turning points. You will see this. It's what's interesting is where the volume increases and at the sort of pivot points, averages, etc. I mean, here you can see that they brought the market back, and look at all of the potential weakness here at the high in R1. So what happens here is that they send the market back down to test at this BRN. Say, well, if you want to sell, let's see if anybody wants to sell. Nobody wants to sell, and they just bring it back to the upside there. Let me just go back to yesterday's session for you here, because obviously I've got some missing there. I don't know why. Let's just go back to the afternoon session, and there you can see, oh, well, that's why, because we finished there, and then prices moved low once they closed back above the 200 MA. But interesting again how they tried to bring this back, and you can see that here we've got, actually you can draw this one in because this is a saved workspace. So if we go to here, just take out the extend right. So if we go from here to here, you will see that the weakness in from here, and the market trades back up to 89%, dead cat bounce, and then it continues its move down with the Dow. And then the same here, you've got the same thing again, you've got the bounce, and doesn't close above the 20-bar moving averages, close back below the 5, and then down it goes again as well. So that was yesterday afternoon. For the DAX, it was really quiet. It just got going later on in the afternoon. It's really odd. Really odd. Didn't follow the Dow at all initially. And currently, as we head towards 10 minutes before the futures, we're still sitting around that 14,050 important level, as we've seen there. Okay, that will do it for this one. If there is anything else to report, I will let you know. But as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.